Hello, my name is Viviane Oliveira. I am Brazilian. I have been in Australia for the last 9 years. I am talking to you today from Moree, a little town in northern New South Wales. Before we start our conversation, I would like to thank David Dembra and Cheryl White for the opportunity to share a little bit of my work with you. Today I'll be talking with you about the framework for receiving and documenting testimonies of trauma. It is a framework that was created by David Dembra, and I have been using it in my work since 2008. The main reason of why I use this framework is because over the last 7 years, most people that I have been working with are from an Aboriginal background. And as you probably know, the impact of the British colonization is still very present in Aboriginal cultures in Australia. So many of the people that I have been meeting over the years have been suffering from intergenerational trauma and also from ongoing violence. So this framework supports me to talk to Aboriginal people about their experiences and reconnect them with their cultural identity in a way that I think it's very culturally appropriated. Please note, when I'm saying that it is culturally appropriated, I am saying it based on the feedback that I have received from Aboriginal people that I have worked with over several years. Another reason of why I use this framework is because many of the people I have been working with over the years have been diagnosed with a mental illness, and many of the people that have been sexually abused or physically abused display feelings and behaviors that are very similar to those criteria that are used by psychologists and psychiatrists when they are assessing people for mental health issue. So I think as a worker, it's my responsibility to do not let the experience of trauma to be disqualified by a diagnosis of a mental illness. And this framework supports me to have those conversations about the experience of trauma. And what I have noticed is that most of the people will eventually move away from the labels that they have received from medical professionals. I believe this framework is a very safe tool to use with people that have been subject of abuse, because it enables people to talk about the experience of trauma, but also helps people to identify and recognize what were the steps they took to resist the effects of trauma in their lives. And by doing that, people can reconnect with values and hopes and dreams and things that are important to them. So it helps people to create what Michael White called full memories of trauma. So people are able to identify parts of their life that have been taken by the effects of trauma. And that is very significant in helping people to heal of consequences of abuse. I'm sharing with you now how I have been using this framework over the years. I won't give too many details about the questions that I asked during the interviewing process, because the article will be made available to you to read at the end of the video. Before you talk to people about the experience of trauma, and if it's possible, it's good to prepare people for these conversations. And David Dembra suggests that we ask people where they would like to have these conversations. It needs to be a place where the person feels safe. We can ask them if they would like to bring a friend along or a family member, and explain to them how the process will look like. And people are always entitled to end the process. They do not need to respond to all the questions, and we need to be quite careful when we are asking the questions and checking on people all the time. And one thing that you also need to establish is how people are going to take care of themselves during the time they're going to be giving their testimonies. David Stambra divided the interviewing process in 3 parts. The first part is creating the context, and it's when we open the opportunity for people to share what they hope to achieve by giving their testimony, and how does it link with the way they want to live their lives and with what is important to them. The second part is called documenting the effects of the abuse, and it's a part where people have the opportunity to share the stories about the abuse itself, the consequences of this abuse in their lives, but also it's an opportunity to explore with them how they have responded to the effects of the abuse when the abuse was happening. And it may be little things that they made to protect themselves or to protect others, or it may be the ways that they tried to escape, or the ways that they tried to finish or to stop the abuse. So it is a part of the interviewing that I have witnessed. Many people can get quite emotional, and but it's also very powerful when people start to realize that little things that were made, such as hiding under the bed or inside a wardrobe, are actually acts of resistance, and that this act of resistance take special knowledge and special skills, and during these conversations we can richly describe this knowledge and these skills and how it is connected with the person, or with the family of this person, or with the culture of this person. So it's a very powerful moment of the interview. In my experience, many people do not want to share details of the abuse itself, and there is no problem. They do not need to talk about the abuse if they don't want to. But it is very important indeed to talk about how they tried to survive, or how they resisted the effects of abuse. Because by doing that, we help people to reconnect with a more positive sense of identity, reconnect with their dreams, with their values, and what they hold on of precious in life. The third part of the interviewing process is called eliciting stories of survival, and we place a bigger focus on how people responded to the ongoing effects of trauma. And also we explore what are the skills and the values that were behind these steps that they are taking in their day-to-day life to protect them from the effects of trauma. And we also have an opportunity to talk about the people that made a difference for them during times of abuse, and how people have been helping or being supportive in helping them to recover from the effects of trauma. During the whole process, I try to be acknowledging the stories that people are sharing with me, and acknowledging their responses to their experience, and how it does take courage, and it does take special skills to do that. And I act as a outside witness to these people all the time, and I'm always sharing with them how their stories support me as a professional and also helps me to grow as a human being. And I have learned a lot from these people. After you receive a testimony of trauma, it is important to document these stories. If it's possible, you can write the story down and include the abuse itself, the effects of the abuse in people's lives, but also how people resisted. And these documents can then be shared with other people that have also been subject of abuse. It can be shared with the wider community, and it also can support people in court process, in meetings with doctors. I have a person that I worked with in the past, and he used to take this little document we did together to his meetings with the doctors. And so the doctors could understand what happened to him, and in fact it helped people to be more respectful of his experiences. I'll share with you a document I created with a person after we went through this framework together, and she's from Sri Lanka, and she used to call herself the Elephant Woman. The Elephant Woman. By sharing my testimony today, I hope I will get rid of the constant flashbacks I have of the abuse my ex-husband put me through. I also hope that I can inspire other women to leave their violent husbands. It takes a lot to be able to talk about my past. I still feel ashamed about what happened to me, even though it was not my fault. I hope by talking to you about this, I'll get rid of the feelings of shame and guilt. My ex-husband is the one that should be ashamed. I'm not sure about what it says about me to be able to share my story. Perhaps I'm brave or even strong. When I was a child, I used to live in an orphanage in Sri Lanka. I don't know how I ended up there, but I guess my parents could not look after me. I have scars in my body, and I have lost one of my eyes. I do not remember how I got hurt, but these are not scars that I was born with. Sometimes I wonder what happened. I have a feeling it happened during my time in the orphanage. I was not the only child with only one eye there. When I grew up, I got married with a man that I thought would love me. To begin with, he was loving and caring, but with time he started abusing me. He used to beat me for no reason. I love birds, but he used to twist the neck of any bird that I brought home. He used to throw things at me and slam the doors all the time. To today, if a door slams close to me, I start crying. I still sleep in the lounge room with the light on, and I have my dog with me. This is the only way I feel safe. For a long time, I did not feel I was beautiful. He used to say no other man would like me because I'm black. Sometimes I still believe that. How I protected myself. Back in Sri Lanka, when the soldiers came, I could hear children crying and screaming, and the soldiers shot while the soldiers shot their guns. I managed to hide under one of the beds, and I knew I had to remain quiet. So I closed my eyes, and I thought of an elephant. You know, I love elephants. They're beautiful and strong. So I pretended I was an elephant myself. That helped me to keep silent. Today, I call myself the Elephant Woman. To protect myself of my ex-husband, I used to sleep in the lounge room with the light on. At least I could see if he was coming. Deep inside, I always knew that one day I would get strong and leave him. It took me 3 years in counseling to be able to finally leave. I had many excuses before. Every time a service would get me a house so I could leave him, I used to say I did not like the house or the house was not safe enough. But reality is, I was not ready to leave. And one day, I just had enough. I left him and I knew it was for good. I always dreamed about having an elephant house. Today I have it. My house is decorated with pictures and rugs of elephants. The elephant woman got her elephant house. I think it's important that people know about this so they can get inspired if they are in violent relationship. We can get strong. I think I just need to be positive and strong. I often remember a day that I was little and I was in the back of an elephant. I felt so big. I felt so strong on his back. And I think no one can take these memories of me. Today, I live in my own. I do not let any man come close to me. I also do not allow anyone to drink or smoke in my house. I also go to the club once a week with the old ladies. I feel good that I can do these things. I also started to dress up and use makeup. It makes me feel beautiful. Even though I do not read well, I can get in the bus or in the train and I can go anywhere. I could never do that before. My counselors and other workers made a difference in my life. They listened to me and did not give up on me. My dog has also made the difference. I have someone to look after and he makes me company. He's like my child. Today I can say I live the life the way I want it. So this is her story. And if you would like to leave a little comment for her after the video, that would be lovely, so I can give it back to her. If you cannot write a testimony or if you don't have time to do so, if the person prefers to do not do it, I suggest that you write a certificate just to document steps and values and hopes that people took to reclaim their lives from abuse. I will leave a slide with an example of a certificate that I use quite often with the people I work with. And to finalize, I just wanted to say that you can be very flexible in the way you use this framework. I usually do not use it only in 1 or 2 sessions. I use it over a number of sessions with the people I work with. Sometimes I just use parts of the framework. It really doesn't matter, as long as we are creating conversations that can enable people to talk about their experiences of trauma. So that's it for today. Thank you. And if you would like, please leave a note after the video, be in touch, and I would love to hear from you.